Hi Ansh, this is your lesson, Our Moon. The moon is the Earth's only natural satellite. It has been studied by astronomers for many years. It is our nearest neighbor in space. It's the closest thing from the Earth, and it's significantly smaller than the Earth. It only has a gravitational force, meaning that pulls that like the force that pulls other things to the moon of only 1/6 of the Earth. It means that if you weighed 120 pounds here on Earth, you would weigh only 20 pounds on the moon, meaning that you always divide the weight by 6. So you would be much lighter. That's why when you see videos of people in the moon, you see that they're kind of like leaping and jumping as if they don't have enough weight. The moon is it's not inhabited by living things like Earth because it has no atmosphere or air. It has no usable source of water, and the temperatures there are too hot during daytime and too cold during nighttime. So you wouldn't be able to live there easily. You would have to adapt it a lot. In 300 before Christ, the Greeks, the people from Greece, measured the distance from the Earth to the moon. How do we measure the distance of the moon now? We use an instrument called a radio telescope. It sends radio signals that are bounced off the moon to measure the distance, and the distance is 240,000 miles. The moon's surface, as you have probably seen in a telescope, is covered with craters and seas, but those are not really seas because they don't contain water. You have probably heard of the Sea of Showers, that's the largest one, or the Sea of Serenity. They are called seas because the ancient scientists believed that they were filled with water. It looked like water when you see it from a telescope or at nighttime. But they don't have water actually. It's just like parts of flat surface. There are mountain ranges in the moon near the south pole of the moon. It's Lipsnitz and Dorfeld. The orbit of the moon causes it to appear differently in the sky at different times in its monthly orbit. Sometimes you see it as a full circle, and sometimes you see it as a small sliver in the sky. And we have a lot of phases of the moon. You have probably heard some of them: half moon, full moon, new moon, and crescent moon. But actually, there are 8 names for the phases. Would be new moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, third quarter, and waning crescent. They are created by changing angles of the earth, the moon, and the sun. Sometimes the earth casts a shadow on the moon and blocks our view of it. That's called a lunar eclipse. And you know that people went to the moon once? In 1966, people went to the moon sent by NASA. A group of astronauts in a mission called Apollo 11 and were manned by Neil Armstrong, Edwin Buzz Aldrin, and Mike Collins, were the first successful moon mission. Neil Armstrong and Edwin Buzz Aldrin walked on the moon. They took samples of the soil and rocks to bring it back to Earth so we could examine it. And that would be it, Angie. Bye.